Oh yeah. And then this happened before I went to go pick my
Dolton
daughter
Village
up
Hall
from
sits
work.
empty, closed for the weekend following a sudden visit from federal agents Friday.
Yeah.
The FBI
They rolled up.
confirming an investigation now underway in the south suburb, though declining to comment on the nature of it, calling it, quote, court-authorized law enforcement activity. But according to sources, at least 2 subpoenas were served during the FBI investigation to obtain personnel records, including those of police officers, as well as business records. Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood welcomes the investigation.
We have been asking for someone to come out here and save us. There have been a lot of spending
Anybody.
that we're not really privy of, and we've been asking for answers.
The investigation comes as the village has been embattled with controversy for months. Dolton Village Administrator and Thornton Township Municipality Manager Keith Freeman was indicted Tuesday in federal court, accused of bankruptcy fraud.
Our job is to make sure we take care of the business.
He's a close ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who herself is accused of mishandling funds. In fact, the Dolton Village Board recently hired former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate allegations of corruption and theft by Mayor Henyard, who previously vetoed the board's request to launch a federal investigation into her.
Vetoing that.
Henyard is also named alongside village trustee and community activist Andrew Holmes in a sexual assault lawsuit.
Good job, Holmes.
It was filed by a Dolton police officer who was a member of Henyard's security detail, as well as a woman who used to work for the mayor.
All those who are doing wrong need to resign. Step down.
As the sun set on Village Hall Friday, some other trustees welcoming what they describe as a new day in Dolton as they await the findings of the federal visit.
Starting up in the old town of Dolton in the Thornton Township. So let's go check that out right quick. See what these fine people are doing up here. Let's go.
Jan Investigates was first to report today a top aide to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been indicted for bankruptcy fraud. It comes amid ongoing questions about Henyard's spending and leadership.
And legal experts say it could be the first sign that the feds are trying to get people to share what they know about potential government corruption in the south suburbs.
Let's be smarter than that. This is not just the price is right.
Despite sitting next to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard at countless meetings, the feds allege Keith Freeman not only failed to report his income from the village, he actively lied about it. Freeman is Henyard's top aide in both Dolton and Thornton Township. As part of a personal bankruptcy case, he was required to report his earnings. But this indictment on one count of bankruptcy fraud says Freeman falsely stated he only worked for the township and made just over $99,000 last year. Prosecutors say he tried to hide his Dolton earnings via a pass-through company, which brought his income to $195,000 last year. They further allege...
Yo, this is funny because this is tied into some of the stuff that I do at work during the daytime. And usually a lot of quote unquote wealthy, sophisticated people like to do things through pass-through companies, typically not to pay taxes on them. And that's exactly what he's doing right here. Let us continue.
The village of Robbins has a claim against Freeman for more than $90,000 he took without authorization from
that would be stealing
a previous post he held as village administrator there.
This is long coming. If a person can lie on their own financials, what do you think they're doing for the village?
Nobody is untouchable. That's what I want to say. Nobody is untouchable. So if this is just the first domino to all of them falling, let it happen.
Dude, Jay Bradley, how you feeling?
Freeman is a key player in our reporting on Tiffany Henyard because of how many roles he plays for her. In addition to the Dolton and Township jobs, Freeman also, for a time, was the registered agent of the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation.
But there's no foundation in the state of Illinois moving like we moving and shaking group.
I know they're not.
That's right.
While Henyard's namesake charity claims to help cancer patients, WGN Investigates has reported it received most of its early money from taxpayers and has failed to file required paperwork showing how it spends its money.
How come you don't respond to my emails?
Yo, man, why you ain't hit me back?
Huh?
There you go. That's all you're getting from me. That's all you're getting from me today.
How come the charity hasn't filed its financial disclosures about how money was spent?
How would I know that? What? That's a good question, though.
For months, WGN
That's a good
Investigates has
question.
reported on
Tap,
questionable conduct on Henyard's watch, including unexplained travel, including first-class airfare and fine
right.
dining
Vegas,
on the
baby.
taxpayer's dime.
Go.
Credit card statements show Freeman was on many of the trips,
Yeah, he
including
went.
one to Las Vegas, where another Henyard aide now claims a Dolton trustee assaulted her. Others accuse Henyard of using Freeman and other government employees to retaliate against her opponents. Court watchers say the feds could use the bankruptcy charge against Freeman to get him to cooperate in other investigations.
Rico.
When the feds are looking at a larger scheme or relationship, oftentimes what they have to do is go for people who are below or the lower part of the food chain, get them for something, charge them with something, because that's the leverage they need to be able to sit down with that person and say, now, if you help us, life might be good for you. If you don't help us, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, what do you want to do?
What you want to do?
So I said one down, about 25 more to go.
Can you see?
No comment this afternoon from Keith Freeman. His boss, Tiffany Henyard,
bro.
said through a spokesperson that she's aware of the indictment but won't comment due to the ongoing investigation. So we don't know whether taxpayers will continue paying Freeman's 2 salaries despite today's bankruptcy fraud charge.
Fraud and scamming. Now, what else do we got going on up here in Dolton? Well, and really, to be honest, Tiffany's been doing this for a couple of years now. Everybody's been reporting on it for almost a year now. Shouts out to PBL, Pink Book Lessons. She probably broke this out well over a year ago. And the thing is, one of the reasons she's been able to do all of this stuff all of this time is because she's got this handy little police force.
WGN Investigates was first to report today a top aide to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been indicted for bankruptcy fraud. It comes amid ongoing.
Yeah, we heard it a little while ago. What we want to know about is how she's been shaking everybody down in the city of Dolton.
South suburban Dolton.
So last night, police shut down 2 popular bars. One trustee says the reason? Because they're not financially supporting Dolton's mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Our Dane Placco has more.
Is it coincidence or retaliation? Both of the Dolton bars that were raided and shut down last night, we visited the day before as part of our ongoing investigation into allegations of political corruption in Dolton.
They just rushed in here, put police at the front of the door like they was doing a raid on the drug house or something.
A team of Dolton police officers raided and shut down Pablo's Bar and Cafe and Rinky's Bar and Cafe, both located on Sibley, about a block apart.
Everything going peacefully, nothing going on. It's like 10 police cars came in and they start pushing customers from here. And
again, police. The police are doing this on her behalf.
He said, if you don't leave, we're going to lock you up.
Employees and owners say it's part of an ongoing campaign of harassment by Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard that is costing jobs and money. Their business licenses have been stripped by Dolton, but they've continued to operate with a state license.
I have like over 23 employees. They work from the local township. Now, end of the day, all the employees, they're going to lose their job.
It's ridiculous. We all have mouths to feed. We all have kids. They're not giving us no explanation.
On Monday, we visited both Rinky's and Pablo's to ask about allegations their licenses were being held up for political reasons. Then last evening, we broke the story that FBI agents have questioned at least a half dozen people, including business owners, a former Dolton employee, and an elected official as part of an investigation into Mayor Henyard. Less than 2 hours after our story aired, police raided the 2 bars.
Someone seen you go in there, and then 2 hours after your story airs, that police are at both of these establishments.
Dolton trustee Tammy Brown says she believes the raids are meant to send a warning to others not to talk. And she believes there's a reason so many Dolton businesses are having trouble getting their licenses renewed.
I'm sure that they were asked to donate, make a donation, and most likely they didn't make a donation. So you don't get a chance to stay open if you don't pay the Queen's ransom.
I mean, it's funny the way she said it. It's not funny, for the people that actually stay there. But the reason I bring that up is because all of the heat is on her. And yes, this aide just got some heat because he's got the bankruptcy fraud thing going on, and she's got another trustee that's got the quote unquote certain assault charge going on. So they're getting a little bit of heat, but most of the heat is on the quote unquote city girl super mayor, and rightfully so. But my thing is, not enough focus is on this police force, because she couldn't be doing half the stuff she's doing without the aid of the police force. Those are her strong arms. And the thing is, the reason we know that the police force is a big part of this and is corrupt is because the previous police chief that wasn't standing for that was fired by Ms. Henyard.
Suburban Police Chief is blowing the whistle on the embattled mayor of Dolton, Tiffany Henyard.
Yes, Fox 32 has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars in overtime.
And now the former chief is talking about it exclusively to Fox 32's Dane Placco.
Yeah, Mayor Henyard fired her chief of police late last year without any approval from the village board. So now Robert Collins has filed a lawsuit against the village. And tonight he's talking exclusively to Fox 32 about what he saw on the inside.
The manpower was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost breaking, having to provide officers on the detail rather than have officers out patrolling the streets.
Former Dolton Police Chief Robert Collins spoke to us from Florida, where he's taken a new job. But he says he remains frustrated by what he experienced leading an undermanned, overworked police department. Demanded a large personal security detail.
You know, wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
Last year, Fox 32 investigated Henyard's detail, following along as Dolton police officers drove her from morning till night, often to her second job as Thornton Township supervisor in South Howland, racking up hundreds of hours of overtime, costing taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around protecting the mayor.
At least 2 and as many as 4 officers at a time, he says. Collins says the security detail was warranted when it started in 2021, after a police-involved shooting sparked protests in the community.
And at some point, the protests stopped. The things going on around the protests all eventually stopped. However, the detail continued.
But now he says it's turned into more than just security. Officers are being used as Henyard's personal valets.
Officers would be sent out to run errands, to do pickups, to do drop-offs.
Just last week, a mass shooting on Sibley Boulevard in Dolton left 4 people injured. Collins believes the bad guys know there aren't enough cops on Dolton streets.
No, they
roll. The village of Dolton has its challenges with gangs, guns, and drugs. And if those officers aren't there, the visibility isn't there. And if the visibility isn't there, then criminals have free reign.
Super Mayor. That's what the Super Mayor has going on. And that's what I had. That's all I was going to update on Ms. Henyard. Her top aide just got indicted for bankruptcy fraud. She's got another aide that's got SA, certain assault charges going on. Oh, yeah. And then this happened before I went to go pick my
Dolton
daughter
Village
up
Hall
from
sits
work.
empty, closed for the weekend following a sudden visit from federal agents Friday.
Yeah.
The FBI
They rolled
confirming an investigation now underway in the south suburb, though declining to comment on the nature of it, calling it, quote, court-authorized law enforcement activity. But according to sources, at least 2 subpoenas were served during the FBI investigation to obtain personnel records, including those of police officers, as well as business records. Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood welcomes the investigation.
We have been asking for someone to come out here and save us. There have been a lot of spending
anybody
that we're not really privy of. and we've been asking for answers.
The investigation comes as the village has been embattled with controversy for months. Dolton Village Administrator and Thornton Township Municipality Manager Keith Freeman was indicted Tuesday in federal court, accused of bankruptcy fraud.
Our job is to make sure we take care of the business.
He's a close ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who herself is accused of mishandling funds. In fact, the Dolton Village Board recently hired former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate allegations of corruption and theft by Mayor Henyard, who previously vetoed the board's request to launch a federal investigation into her.
Vetoing that.
Henyard is also named alongside village trustee and community activist Andrew Holmes in a sexual assault lawsuit.
Good job, Holmes.
It was filed by a Dolton police officer who was a member of Henyard's security detail, as well as a woman who used to work for the mayor.
All those who are doing wrong need to resign. Step down.
As the sun set on Village Hall Friday, some other trustees welcoming what they describe as a new day in Dolton as they await the findings of the federal visit.
Of course, you don't want to see the negativity that's been brought in, but again, the sun is shining today. And this is a good day for the residents of Dolton.
Now, when asked about this FBI investigation, a spokesperson for the village of Dolton didn't directly address it, only saying that there wasn't a raid.
It wasn't. Despite what you all just saw, there was not a raid, okay? It wasn't. Stop your lying eyes from lying to you.